I'm Nana Judy, and I'm going to read a couple of stories to you today that should remind you of the seasons that we have here in Maine. The first book I'm going to read is Mud, Sand, and Snow by Charlotte Agell. Mud makes me dance in the spring. Is it spring now? Think about that. I try to fly up to the sky on my swing. Let's poke holes and plant peas on our wet, muddy knees. In the quince bush, two little birds sing. I wonder if you did any planting in the spring of this year. Sand and grass tickle my toes. Summer's here, and it fills up my nose. Fuzz buddy and free. No, don't pat that bee. How quickly our sunflower grows. Wind spins us around in the fall. Our pumpkin is the biggest of all. Leaves whoosh in the door, and we broom and dance the floor. Before supper, the crows start to call. Snow. Can you guess what season it is now? Snow is so deep and white, we walk into the cold winter's night. Our breath whispers like steam. Let sleeping bears dream. When it's dark out and the moon shines so bright. Okay, now, this story is called The Iciest, Diciest, Scariest Sled Ride Ever by Rebecca Rule, and is illustrated by Jennifer Therms. One of the things that's kind of special about this story is the characters take a leap right here in the beginning. So these are the LaPierre brothers. There are two Patties in this story, and the narrator calls them Patty P and Patty H. And me, that's Lizzie. She's the one who's telling the story. Robert and the dog Chipper. The iciest, diciest, scariest sled ride ever. And there are the characters looking out the window at what's happening outside. On the first day of February vacation, sleet followed snow and made a crust so thick you couldn't break through, even if you jumped on it as hard as you could. The largest of the three LaPierre brothers tried. He jumped up and down, but he couldn't break through. My little brother Robert slid down the slope in our backyard like a hockey puck in the puffy snowsuit he got for Christmas. He bumped into the snow-softened stone wall. It looked like fun, so we all tried it. The LaPierres, my two best friends, Patty H and Patty P, and me. We bounced off the stone wall, then had to form a human chain to pull everybody back up the little hill. The world was ice and we were skaters without skates. We decided to look for a really good sliding place. Patty H. tested her snow saucer on the hill by Raymond's Brook. She spun all the way down. Plowing backwards and through the pucker brush at the bottom. I got ready to go. Forget it, Lizzie, she yelled up to me. You can't steer on this stuff. We'll meet you at the bridge, I yelled down. Then I remembered the old Travis sled in Grandpa Bud's barn. It was homemade with 2 double runners, sleds hitched to the plank seat. When Grandpa Bud was a kid, he said you could push off from his house at the stroke of noon, whiz down the old mountain road, past the horse farm, past the mill, and past the blacksmith shop, whip around the curve, go past the cemetery, past the church, and past the skating pond, swoosh into the village, and spin to a stop in the snowbank by the gazebo before the bell finished ringing the hour. Of course, then it took us the rest of the afternoon to hike home, Grandpa Bud said. Please, we said, please, please. I don't know about this, he said. It's awfully icy. We promise not to break the Travis. You don't hurt yourself, he said. Hit a soft spot in the crust. Things could get dicey. We promise not to break ourselves. It's hard to steer on crust, Grandpa Bud said. You get going too fast, it's pretty scary. We're not scared, we said. We'll try to go slow. We were pretty sure he didn't believe us about the slow part. We didn't believe ourselves. And stay out of the road, he warned. Times have changed. An icy glaze coated the highest, mightiest, iciest sledding hill of Old Mountain Road. We sledded there before, on saucers, cardboard boxes, and once on my cousin Poppy's flexible flyer, but never on a sled as big as Grandpa Bud's, Travis, and never on crust like this. The smooth surface was so bright it hurt our eyes. The hilltop glared in the sun. 2 LaPierre boys pulled the Travis. Patty P pushed. We couldn't stand once it got steep. Our legs kept slipping right out from under us. So we crawled. I could hear Robert's snowsuit swishing behind me. He grabbed my boot. I tried to shake him loose. We both rolled all the way down the hill and wedged up against a small hemlock tree. Soon, the 3 LaPierres, the 2 Patties, and the Travis joined us. Pig pile. We need climbing ropes and pitons, said the LaPierre said. We need cleats, Patty P said. We'll never make it, Patty H said. We need sticky mittens, Robert said, and spiky knees. We need a hot air balloon, I said, for floating up. We locked hands and feet, and then on our bellies, we warmed up the slope, an inchworm train with a Travis caboose. We made it almost halfway before a LaPierre lost his grip. I'm going, he cried, and went, taking a patty or two with him. I rolled over, threw up my hands, and enjoyed the ride all the way down. Pig pile. Let's go to my house and have cocoa, Patty H. said, but we ignored her. We took to the trees at the edge of the field. A LaPierre tied the Travis to his waist with the sled's pulling rope. The crust seemed softer here, soft enough to dig in a toe. We hugged trees all the way, slip-slide way to the top. The three LaPierre boys formed a human chain with the Travis at the end of it. Once we reached the height of the land, we followed the ridge to the top of the highest, mightiest, iciest sledding hill off Old Mountain Road. What do you think's going to happen? We saw white, bright mountains. We saw the racing horse weather vane on the roof of Grandpa Bud's barn. We saw the steeple of the church. We saw the frozen pond. And no one said, I'm afraid. But we were a little. We played one potato, two potato to see who would steer, and I won. Behind me, my brother, the two Patties, and the three LaPierres squished together. Ready, set. The highest, mightiest, iciest sledding hill off Old Mountain Road stretched before us like a lifetime. I straightened the steer bar and braced my knees. Robert buried his runny nose in my back. The last LaPierre gave a little push. Off we went. Slow at first, then fast, then faster. Someone screeched. It was me. The runners on the old Traverse remembered how to glide. The hill took control, and we were flying over the highest, mightiest, iciest sledding hill off Old Mountain Road. We were going so fast, the tears blew out of our eyes. We're going so fast, we forgot to be scared. Some of us laughed, some of us screamed, some of us did both at the same time. The wind whipped our screams and laughter like a beautiful scarf trailing wildly behind. And at the bottom, Robert crawled out from under the pile of LaPierres, Patties, and me, with the Travis bottoms up on top. He wiped his nose with his mitten. He gazed in the wonder up that long, steep slope we just careened down, and he said, "Let's do it again." So we did. And that's the end of the story. Do you think they had fun? I'm sitting here in the sitting room in the Victoria Mansion in Portland, Maine. It's all decorated for Christmas. It's really quite beautiful. And I know that in the olden days, probably the owner, that would be Olive Morse, used to read to her nieces and nephews in here. So this is very special to me. And just as special is the fact that Islandport Press has donated the stories that I read to you today. So I hope that you'll talk to the grown-ups and your family and see if you can convince them to bring you in to see the beautiful Victoria Mansion in its holiday regalia. Thank you.